Anybody who's played a game of trump cards will know that cars and numbers go together. Take this car, for instance. It has a single engine, of course, but that engine is made up of two V6s spliced together. 3 is the number of cylinders per bank, and it has 4 banks. It also has 4 valves per cylinder, 4 wheels, and it has 4-wheel drive. 6 is the capacity of the engine in litres, 8 the number of speeds the gearbox has. And now the numbers start getting a little bit bigger. 48 valves in total, and of course 467 kilowatt, 820 newton meters, and then the biggest number of all, 5 million. That's 5 million rands which you'll have to pay to own this particular car. Meet the Bentley Continental GT Speed W12.
The Speed W12 is Bentley's performance flagship. First released in late 2012, the original GT Speed was the fastest production Bentley ever built. 2 years later, Bentley has upped the ante even further, boosting power and torque with commensurate gains in performance. Power is up by 7 kilowatt and torque by 20 newton meters, but the torque peak is now reached earlier. Even fuel efficiency has actually improved, if ever so slightly.
The changes to the engine of the Bentley are matched by equally subtle changes to the exterior, primarily the extended colour coding of the car, but also the front splitter, the lower sills and the rear diffuser. However, most importantly, this car retains its brutal beer moth presence, and it's instantly recognisable.
The GT Speed's obvious focus on performance is also evidenced by its reduced ride height and a stiffer chassis with uprated springs. The big meshed grille and the extended bonnet exude stern authority, while the steeply raked windscreen, the high shoulder line and those bulging rear fenders confirm the GT Speed's dynamic intent. The result is a low-slung, almost menacing look that links the bulk of a lock forward to the rippling eagerness of a champion sprinter. It may be big and heavy, but there's a real swagger in this Bentley's step.
The cabin of the Bentley moves the focus away from the hardcore performance of the engine to the finer things of life. It's a spacious and very well executed interior, and when I mean space, not only for front occupants, but also the rear passengers. In fact, despite its 21st century credentials, this car has an interior execution that harks back to a finer, more elegant, more classic era.
It's a handcrafted space, resplendent in rich leather and with idiosyncratic details such as the deep chromed organ stoppers and the beautifully turned out knurled rotary switches. The appointments aren't just luxurious, they're hedonistic. The seats are shaped just right for both comfort and support and are electrically adjustable in every way possible, including for lumbar and thigh support. There's enough switchgear to keep an Airbus pilot happy, including a centrally located touchscreen display. A big car should have ample boot space, and the Bentley Continental GT is no exception. The 386-litre luggage capacity represents a serviceable size.
As I've mentioned before, the Bentley has a 12-cylinder engine, but what makes it different is the W12 configuration, which means it's a lot more compact than a more conventional V12. Maximum power, 467 kilowatt, reached at 6,000 RPM, mated to 820 newton meters of torque, which is available from just 1,700 RPM.
The gearbox is an 8-speed auto which delivers the power to all 4 wheels. The all-wheel drive system is a variation of Audi's Quattro system and splits the power 40/60 front-rear by default, but can vary the torque split depending on traction requirements. Not surprisingly, the Bentley's drivetrain won't win any economy runs. Although slightly more economical than the previous model, you'll struggle to keep it below 20 litres per 100 kilometres.
So who cares if the Bentley is a thirsty beast? After all, this car is all about hardcore, eyes wide open performance. Step on the throttle and it catapults towards the horizon with a great deal of intent. The 0 to 100 time, 4.2 seconds, which is rapid enough, but it's the 321 km/h top speed that'll really make your eyes water.
Because the big coupe weighs 2.2 tons, acceleration is not so much ferocious as it is insistent, but the blurring landscape confirms that you're going fast. Mid-range tractability is devastating, ensuring that overtaking is utterly effortless. In sport mode, the auto gearbox works a treat, allowing firm and fast cog swaps using the shift paddles behind the steering wheel. If you opt for auto mode, the gear changes slow down, but they're so seamless that you hardly notice them. The brakes deserve special mention. The standard system uses dinner plate-sized vented front discs with 8-pot calipers, while the rear 335mm vented discs are not that much smaller, but the test car was fitted with the optional carbon silicone carbide discs, which are even bigger, and yes, they can generate enough deceleration to make your eyes pop. The steering is positive and responsive, and the all-wheel drive system optimizes traction so that those big tires don't have to work too hard. The big Bentley may be a juggernaut, but it's never short of finesse, and when set to comfort mode, the suspension cossets its occupants in limo-style comfort.
So here's the thing. 5 million rands is a lot of money to spend on a car, almost regardless of how wealthy you are. But then, this is no ordinary vehicle. It has a unique ability to link lavish luxury to supercar performance, craftsmanship to high technology. If you add the heritage of the Bentley brand to that car as well, you have a truly special car.
With 12 cylinders pumping out massive power and torque and all-wheel drive to make full use of that urge, it's not surprising that the Speed W12 is both fast and composed. It's also lavishly luxurious, super comfortable and highly exclusive, but its bulk means the Speed W12 always understates its performance, and it's not exactly cheap either.